Hey everyone, welcome. Today we're digging into the incredible power of literature. And I'm not just talking about dusty old books on a shelf, we're talking about a living, breathing force that actually shapes our world. So let's get right into it.
So what is it? What's the magic ingredient that takes a simple story and turns it into something we call literature? Something that has the power to not just entertain us, but to challenge us and maybe even change the world. That's the big question we're tackling today.
Okay, so to really get to the bottom of this, we need to start with the basics. We have to ask that fundamental question. What is literature anyway? Let's start with a solid definition.
Now, what's really key here are the phrases artistic or intellectual importance and imaginative language. See, that's what tells us literature is so much more than just words on a page. It's an art form, really, one that dives deep into the human experience, all the messy, beautiful, complicated parts of it.
And it does a ton of heavy lifting, right? I mean, of course, it can entertain us, but it also educates us. It pushes back on our beliefs. And I think this is the most important part. It builds empathy. It lets us walk a mile in someone else's shoes. It's a tool for understanding ourselves and for taking a hard look at the world we live in. And that brings us to the central idea for this whole explainer. I want you to think of literature as having two massive roles. It can be a mirror that reflects the world, and it can be a hammer that helps shape it. As a mirror, literature shows us who we are, the good, the bad, all of it. It's like a snapshot of a society at a particular time. But then it can also be a hammer, a tool that's used to smash old ideas, to challenge injustice, and to build something new. And the truly great works of literature, they often manage to do both at the very same time. So let's start with the mirror. For a perfect example of literature just reflecting the world back at us, you can't do much better than a classic Charles Dickens' A Tale of Two Cities. Dickens basically held up this giant mirror to the crazy class struggles of his time. He made the tensions of the French Revolution feel real and personal for his readers. He was just showing them the world as it was, in this incredibly vivid, unforgettable way. Okay, so that was the mirror. Now let's switch over and pick up the hammer. And for an example of literature as a powerful tool for change, we gotta talk about Harriet Beecher Stowe's Uncle Tom's Cabin. This book didn't just reflect reality, it took a sledgehammer to it. By telling this deeply human story, it exposed the horrifying truth of slavery to a massive audience. It helped galvanize the abolitionist movement and had a direct, measurable impact on history. It's just a stunning example of how a story can literally change the world. So, how does that even work? How does literature function as a hammer? What are the actual techniques that authors use to critique society and, push for real change? Well, authors have this whole toolkit they can pull from. They can expose injustice, they can challenge power structures, or they can build empathy. But one of the sharpest tools in that kit has got to be satire. Satire is so fascinating because it's kind of like a Trojan horse, right? It uses humor and exaggeration and sometimes just pure ridicule to sneak past our defenses and deliver a really powerful, often uncomfortable critique. And you can't find a better example than George Orwell's Animal Farm. I mean, on the surface, it's just a simple fable about farm animals, but it's actually this absolutely devastating satirical takedown of totalitarianism. By using this simple story, Orwell revealed a dark political reality in a way that was easy to understand, but impossible to ignore. So, we've seen what literature can do. But how does it get its emotional punch? How does it actually work on us? A huge part of the answer lies in these hidden blueprints of storytelling we call genre. A genre is basically a set of rules or expectations. When you pick up a detective novel, you expect a mystery, some clues, and a detective, right? That shared understanding is the genre's code. It completely shapes how we experience the story. Now, following those rules can make for a great, satisfying story, no doubt about it. But the authors who really change the game, they're the ones who know the rules so well that they can smash them into a million pieces. Virginia Woolf is the perfect example. She took the idea of a traditional novel and just flipped it on its head. Instead of a straightforward plot, she plunged the reader directly into the messy, unfiltered thoughts of her characters. That's what we call stream of consciousness. And it completely changed what a novel could be. And if you want to see just how powerful these genre codes are, just look at Shakespeare. In Hamlet, he uses the tragedy blueprint to lead us toward despair and then release. But in A Midsummer Night's Dream, he uses the comedy blueprint to create joy and reconciliation.
Same writer, but different codes create totally different emotional journeys.
So after all that, why does this still matter? I mean, really, in our super fast-paced digital world, why should we care about stories written hundreds of years ago?
Because these stories aren't just artifacts from the past. They're part of a living, breathing conversation. A conversation that spans centuries, all about who we are, and maybe more importantly, who we want to become.
So if you remember anything from our talk today, let it be this. Literature is both a mirror reflecting our world and a hammer to shape it. It's a powerful tool for social critique. Genres are the secret codes that shape our feelings about a story. And ultimately, great stories connect us, challenge us, and help us dream up a better future.
And that leaves us with one final big question to think about. Every generation leaves its stories behind. So, what are ours going to be? What stories will be our mirror? And what stories will be our hammer to build a future? Thanks so much for exploring this with me.